So here's a question for you. Have you ever seen someone stay like 20 years in a brutally tough job, but then watch someone else quit a super comfortable, easy job in less than a year? It seems completely backward, right? Well, it's a paradox that holds a huge secret about what really truly drives us. Okay, let's get into it and figure out why the hardest climbs often give us the biggest rewards.
Let's just start with a little thought experiment. Picture this. I could snap my fingers, put you in a helicopter, and just drop you off right on the summit of Mount Everest. No climbing, no struggle, no effort. You're just there. The view is insane, of course, but would you actually feel happy, like truly fulfilled? You know, if we're being really honest with ourselves, the answer is probably no. Because the real prize, the thing that makes it all worth it, it isn't just standing there at the end. It's the journey to get there, right? It's the struggle, the progress, that feeling of overcoming something huge. So the big idea here is this. Fulfillment, that real happiness, it's found in the climb. All right, so let's take that idea from the top of a mountain and bring it down to a fascinating real-world story that I actually got to see up close. It's a tale of two jobs that couldn't be more different, and it explains this whole motivation puzzle perfectly. So on one side, you've got debt collection. I mean, just think about it. High stress, people yelling at you on the phone all day, just constant rejection. Then, on the other side, you have talent acquisition, HR basically. A nice, comfy office, polite calls, happy clients. But here's the kicker. People would stay in that brutal debt collection job for 10, even 20 years. And the cushy one, they were running for the doors in less than a year.
So this is the puzzle we're trying to solve. It just makes no sense on the surface. Why on earth would anyone choose all that stress over comfort and praise? What was really going on inside that debt collection agency that made people stick around for so long? Let's break it down.
The answer, it turns out, is in 5 really powerful secrets. And these aren't about, bigger paychecks or a foosball table in the break room. They're about how the work itself was set up to feel like a meaningful climb, not just a 9-to-5 grind. First up is the incredible power of what I call micro wins. These tiny, visible victories. See, when you're on a long, hard journey, you absolutely need those little checkpoints to keep you motivated. And this tough job, they understood that perfectly. They basically designed the whole job like a video game. I mean, every little step forward was a big deal. Learning the script? Bam! Celebration. Making your first real collection? Huge milestone. It created this constant feeling of momentum, this tangible sense that you were actually getting better. It wasn't like the HR job where it was just kind of flat and repetitive. This was dynamic. It was exciting. All right, the second secret is all about starting with why. Most jobs, they teach you how to do the work. Here's the script, here's the software. But the really great ones, they start by teaching you why your work even matters in the first place. Before anyone even looked at a script, they were given this powerful reframe. They were told, you're not just hounding people for money. You're helping a family reduce their mental stress. You're not a collector, you're a mediator. Wow. That one little shift in perspective, it turned a really tough task into a mission that actually felt important.
Secret number 3. This one is all about emotion. It's about the vibe. Look, logic can tell you what you should do, but it's your emotions that actually get you to, do it. The feeling of the work environment is pretty much everything.
Let me try to explain it this way. If I just came up to you and said, hey, could you cut your hand? Your logical brain would of course say, no way, that's insane, right? It's a totally irrational thing to do.
But what if I changed the situation? What if your hand had some deadly disease and amputating it was the only way to save your entire life? All of a sudden, that same action goes from crazy to absolutely necessary. The emotion of the situation changes the entire decision.
And that is exactly what was going on in these two jobs. The debt collection role had this powerful emotional vibe, a real sense of urgency, of purpose, of pride. The comfortable job, it was just emotionally flat. It was just a process. And we humans, we are fundamentally wired to move for emotion, not for pure logic.
So let's get to secret number 4. This one builds on that whole idea of purpose. The leaders in the tough job, they get something really crucial. Motivation is not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. Every single person has their own personal why.
So they'd actually take the time to sit down with you and figure out what made you tick. Was it money? Was it climbing the ladder? Was it just being able to provide for your family? And then they connect that specific thing directly to the work you were doing every day. I mean, when people feel seen and understood like that, they connect on a totally different level.
And that brings us to the fifth and honestly maybe the most important secret of them all. Real, deep fulfillment, it doesn't come from things being easy. It comes from overcoming challenges that actually matter.
Think about it. A path of just ease and comfort, yeah, it feels good for a little bit, but it almost always leads to boredom, to feeling disengaged. It's the path of struggle, the path of challenge. That's the one that builds pride, creates meaning, and in the end, gives us a story we're actually proud to tell.
So, let's bring this all home and go back to our mountain. Why does the climb matter so much more than just being at the summit? Well, it's simple. The climb is where we find out who we are. It's where we grow.
When you put it all together, the reason people stayed in that ridiculously hard job for decades is because it was built for growth, not for comfort. They knew why they were there, their progress was always being celebrated, and they felt the genuine sense of pride in overcoming the struggle. Yeah, the work was hard, but it was also incredibly meaningful. Look, if you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this right here. People don't quit hard work. They just don't. They quit work that feels meaningless. It was never about how difficult the job was. It was about whether it had meaning, progress, and a real purpose. And that kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on. Take a look at your own work, or the work you might be designing for other people. Is it built like a lazy stroll in the park that just leads to boredom? Or is it a challenging, meaningful climb that leads to real growth? Because the answer to that question, well, it makes all the difference in the world.